Since I was a young age of 12 years old, I have struggled with mental health. This put a real toll on my overall health as well as my social life. I felt isolated and no one understood or even cared, especially in schools. I had one teacher, however, who really knew me, listened, and cared. She knew the signs and could tell when I was down. As I've progressed through my education, I've noticed that not many teachers are like this. Not many teachers can tell when a student is down or really knows how to help them. Today, I will be speaking of the social justice issue of mental health in schools. Now, to start off, I want to say that what I think of mental health may be different than what you think. For example, when I hear mental health issues, I think of anxiety, depression, ADD, ADHD, or bipolar disorder. However, mental health is not always diagnosed. For example, the fear of public speaking, extreme shyness, and low self confidence are also examples of mental health issues that people every day struggle with. This issue of mental health, in schools especially, has beginning to increase. School professionals are not educated enough on how to help these students. Today, through the Jesuit charisms we've talked about in class and how to incorporate them into everyday life, I will be explaining how we can incorporate them in schools to help students with mental health. By focusing on the values of service, social justice, and human dignity in school curriculums, educators can better assist the mental needs of their students. My first point is by focusing on the Jesuit charism of service and charity, schools will provide more resources for their students struggling with mental health. My second point will be by enforcing the importance of human dignity, their students will increase their mental health. And third, teachers should not only be educated on mental health, but they should be advocates for mental health. To begin, schools lack the resources to help their students who struggle with mental health. Service and charity are aspects of Catholic and Jesuit teachings that should be incorporated in everyday life, not just in a Jesuit and Catholic environment. According to the book Deus Carte Est, written by Pope Benedict, charity and service are one of the responses to immediate needs and specific situations, such as caring for and healing the sick. Mental health issues may define someone as sick, and through schools of all kind should help the needs of their students through service and charity. Mental health is an immediate need that each person should have to ensure that they are successful and prosperous in life. Public and private schools alike lack the resources to help these students. These resources, for example, could be more pamphlets on the desks of counselors, mental health professionals, or just educated school staff. According to the National Association of School Psychologists in 2018, in schools, there's one psychologist for every 1,318 students. However, it is recommended there be one psychologist for every 500 to 700 students. This shows that the presence of mental health professionals is lacking in schools. Although they may be present, there is far from enough mental health professionals to help each student that may need their services. According to the World Health Organization in 2018, 1 in 4 people struggle with some kind of mental health. Because the number of people who struggle with mental health is so large, it is so important for young people to get the help they need. When young people get the help they need, then they can learn to cope with this and to realize that their life, although they struggle from this chemical imbalance in their brain, can still be prosperous, happy, and they can live their best life. Another reason why it is important for young people to deal with their mental health early and to have these resources is because the time a young person is young is the most valuable time in their life. They're vulnerable. They learn to have a self-image and they realize who they want to be, which entails them to start planning for their future and ultimately helps them appreciate life. It is important to develop a good sense of human dignity and self-worth. Instilling the importance of human dignity will increase students' mental health. Precious and important students are all over. There's not someone that is more precious than the other. Each student is precious in their own way, and through instilling human dignity in them, they will know that they are precious, and although they are going through mental health, They will know that they are appreciated and they are loved. It is hard to find self-love and acceptance as you're going through school because students are always comparing themselves to their peers. She plays basketball better than me. She's prettier than me. He can throw a football farther than me. It is so hard for students to accept the fact that they are beautiful and important in their own ways. And I think it is so important for schools to be able to enforce self-love and acceptance through mental health and through barriers. According to the Catholic social teaching theme of life and dignity of the human person, we believe that every person is precious and that the measure of each institution is whether it threatens or enhances the life and dignity of the human person. Human dignity should be prevalent in everyone's life. It is so important for each person to recognize the strength as well as for educators to recognize the strengths of their students and be able to let them shine. Mental health in schools is a growing social justice issue. It is important for teachers, administrators, and peers to become aware of the signs and become a support system for those students struggling. Many of the most influential people in young people's lives, such as counselors, teachers, administrators, friends, aunts, uncles, cannot adequately help them or understand what they are going through because they simply don't understand. Social justice is defined as a principle of social governance that guarantees each appropriate freedom and resources to build the common good. When teachers are lacking in the resources and skills to help these students, they're not bettering the common good, because in a school setting, the common good is that of each student individually. They are limiting the resources to these students. They're limiting the knowledge that they are able to entail. You may be asking yourself, how is mental health a social justice issue? When a student struggles from mental health and is not supported or understood, their ability to grow and prosper is being hindered. They may not have someone who can empathize with them. And since mental health influences such a large number of people, it is important that they have a support system and people who love them. In conclusion, mental health affects so many people worldwide every day. I am one of them. You may be one of them. Through my school experience, I learned that many people don't understand mental health. My school experience would have been better if more professionals understood what I was going through and could help me and support me. Human dignity is one of the most important things that I've learned as I've grown up, and I wish I would have known that when I was younger. As I'm sitting here in a room full of future teachers, I hope you've taken a mental note, and as you continue in your future career, you realize that human dignity and self-worth of your students is so important. Thank you.